Hey guys, what's up? It's Snake here, and I'm bringing you some hardcore capture the flag on Stadium while we talk about Retaliation. And Retaliation, of course, is the name given to Map Pack 4 for Black Ops Call of Duty. And in Retaliation, of course, like always, we got 5 new maps, a zombie map named Quarantine, which is supposed to be set at Area 51. But I'm not going to talk about that because I made a whole other video, and of course there's going to be a link below in the video as well as a link down below in the description for you to check that out. But the other 4 maps, the multiplayer maps, are going to be Cargo, Metro, Mansion, and Harbor. So we're going to talk a little bit about those today. First up, Harbor. Harbor sounds really neat. Now the big question we're going to have to ask ourselves is, what country is this set in? Because if it's set in America, we're talking New York Harbor or something along those lines. You know, the Statue of Liberty in the background, and you know, giant decks, and then we got some sort of tanker tied up to the side of the deck. So it gives you some plane levels to play on. You're running down on the harbor itself, and then you got the choke points where you can get on and off the ship. Maybe some zip lines to get down quickly, that sort of thing. Some snipers, crow's nests, and stuff like that. So that could be really, really neat. Of course, if it's in some sort of third world country, Korea, Vietnam, Cuba, we could see more old world looking harbors, wooden decks and things like that, even parts where we can like go down and run along the shore in the water, sort of like some of the old World at War maps. Or the really neat thing, I think, would be is if Harbor is actually set in Russia, because a lot of the harbors we would find in Russia are in Arctic waters. And so we're not just talking about running down along the shore, we're talking about jumping down and running across the water, the frozen water. You could run around on the ice, and then this could be some sort of like situational thing where you're running down on the ice and some guy sees you and he shoots at the ice, and the ice will actually break and you'll fall through and then turn into some sort of popsicle or something like that. And then another thing they could include in Harbor too is a lighthouse, which would give us great sniper position, you know, and it would of course mean that the map would have to be a night map, you know, because you can get that light going and have that as sort of a, I don't know, some sort of environmental thing. The other neat thing I think would be is not just a night map, but what if they finally, and not even for Harbor, but just any map, what if they finally came out with a map that it changed depending on the time of day. So if it's daytime, it's daytime, and when it's nighttime, it's actually nighttime in the game, just like in real life. I think that'd be really neat. And then, you know, so the map itself changes as the day changes. You know, if it is a harbor, you have the tides coming in, the tides going out, and it changes the way the game is played. So I think that'd be pretty neat. Up next, we got Metro. So Metro is probably going to be an American map. Some sort of subway map probably, so we'll see above ground street level stuff, and then you could take elevators or stairs or escalators or something like that to get down to underneath where the train is. And then the train, that's a big question mark. What's the train going to be like? Is the train going to be there and it's stationary so you can actually duck through it and sort of sneak from one side of the map to the other? Or are we talking a moving train, where you have to be careful when you're jumping across the tracks that you don't get smacked in the face with, you know, the In Express. So that's what I think about Metro, at least. And up next we got Cargo. And Cargo I'm actually really, really excited about. Because first off, one place we could find cargo is at a harbor. And that's kind of boring. I mean, unless it's like the harbor I described. But what other place can you find cargo at? On a ship. On a ship. Out at sea. How crazy would it be if we finally got a multiplayer map that was no longer a stationary map? We would literally be playing on the top deck, or top as well as some subterranean decks of a giant tanker. And so you're getting chased across the map, and some quick scoper is trying to grizz on you, or whatever, you know, whatever it is you call it. And then a giant wave comes and hits the tanker, rocks the whole boat left and then right. The bullet zooms by your head and you're safe. Thank goodness, all because of the waves. So that's kind of an exciting idea, an exciting possibility that we could be seeing in the Cargo map. And then last but not least is Mansion. And Mansion could either be a really bunk kind of map, a really kind of boring regular map, because we already got Velo, so it's not like there would necessarily be anything new that we could get there. But at the same time, it could also be a really, really cool map. I mean, if it's a mansion, what if we had a map that was set in a mansion, but you could only be in the mansion? There was no outside. Maybe a patio or something like that, but you can't go into the backyard. There's no front yard. It's not like Vila where there's a lot of places to run around. It's all enclosed spaces. You spawn in the left wing, you spawn in the right wing, you meet in the middle where the giant stairwell is, that kind of thing, staircases or whatever you want to call it. Another really cool idea about that is how would you get around? Well, if I learned anything from Clue, it's about secret passages. You always want to take the secret passages. You're getting chased, you run into the study, you jump through the spinning picture frame, and bam, pop out the other side. It was the Topaz with the Python and the Conservatory. Suck it, Parker Brothers. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, so anyway, that's what I'm hoping for with Mansion. And that kind of rounds up our 4 multiplayer maps. So I'm going to finish real quick, well, once I'm going to get to the DLC, talking about DLC in just a second, but I'm going to finish up real quick with Quarantine. Like I said, I already have a video on Hangar 18 about ideas as far as Area 51 being a zombie map. But I did want to point this out, because they're saying Quarantine is going to be the name of it, but it's going to be Area 51. Well, if it's called Quarantine, then it might not actually be Area 51. That's not to say we won't ever see an Area 51 zombie map. I'm positive we will. But if they're calling the next zombie map Quarantine, there's a whole lot of indication that it might be set at firing range. In fact, written in giant letters across the wall in the bathroom of firing range is the word Quarantine, in another language of course, but there's tons and tons of other Easter eggs in that level, and I might even do a whole video on all the different Easter eggs that are strictly zombie related that are in firing range. But I think the most blatant one is the giant words saying Quarantine. So maybe if Quarantine is actually the name of the zombie map, we might not be seeing Area 51 just yet. But who knows? We'll see, right? And so then I wanted to talk about DLC a bit too, because I was seeing in a lot of threads and a lot of forums and things like that, people were talking about they're not sure if they want to buy Map Pack 4 and things like that. Oh my goodness, Activision is charging us so much money. But if you really think about it, they're not overcharging us necessarily. I mean, I think they are going a little crazy with all the different map packs. But in the end, we started this game. When it was released, we paid $60, and yeah, okay, we got a campaign mode, so that's something different. But we got 14 multiplayer maps, and we got 3 zombie maps. And just the DLC alone, after we get Map Pack 4, we're going to actually have 16 multiplayer maps and 4 zombie maps. So 2 extra multiplayer, 1 extra zombie, meaning we're actually going to more than double all of the maps total. So they're giving us, I think, really, they're giving us what they're charging us for. Having said that, I would like to maybe see some extra missions in the campaign mode that you would get through downloading the DLC, and it wouldn't even have to be brand new missions or things that change the story, but I think it would be kind of neat maybe to have, like, I don't know, missions that we see what it was like on the other side. So we played Americans first and now we're the Russians or something like that. Some little fun thing to add on just to make it a little bit more worth our while. And then, of course, I think the biggest thing that everybody's asking for, not just myself, but everyone, is when are the zombie maps and the multiplayer maps going to be separated? So I think everybody really, really wants to see that. And I think it's just a matter of time. Because, you know, right now, especially if you're only playing zombies, you're getting charged $48 extra that you really don't need to be paying. But that's just my 2 cents, and it looks like we're done, and I did not get MVP, but we still won, so peace out.